The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention once said measles was effectively eliminated in the U.S. So why is it making a comeback? Let's connect the dots. In 2000, the CDC said there were fewer than 100 cases of measles in the U.S. per year, meaning vaccinations were working. Before 1963, when the measles vaccine was developed, up to 500 people died every year in this country from the disease, most of them children. But as more states allowed parents to not vaccinate kids, cases started to make a comeback. Texas is one of those states. So is Washington State, where dozens of cases have been reported in recent weeks. But while the MMR vaccine is effective, it's not foolproof. It's given in 2 doses. After the first dose, it's 93% effective. After the second, it's 97%. Experts say the only way to really stop the spread of this highly contagious and deadly disease is to get everyone vaccinated. Connecting the dots, I'm Marcelino Benito for H-Town Rush.